Yeah, good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 2 of OTM-WMS Users Conference. Today, you cannot hear us? All good? Yeah. Okay, fine. So today we are here to present one of the interesting solutions that we implemented as a part of Stratco and Oracle Consulting. It says about successful unification of OTM and Oracle Fusion to streamline operations for Stratco. Okay. So this session will be presented by Michael, who is an SME for inventory and logistics and has an experience over 20 years in Stratco as well as in logistics and inventory. Along with Michael, we have Niranjan Murthy and myself, Akshay Joharle, presenting from Oracle Consulting side. So Michael is online all the way from a beautiful city of Adelaide in Australia. So maybe we can just go to next slide, Michael. Yeah, so this is the agenda for today. We have Stratco overview. So what Stratco does, who Stratco is, and some of the key few products of Stratco. And then followed by the application landscape deployed for Stratco. And then I'll walk you through integration touchpoints between OTM and Oracle Fusion. And then very interesting solution overview deployed for Stratco, right? And then my colleague Niranjan will take us through the key features that was implemented as a part of this project. And lastly, but not the least, Michael will cover the benefits that was realized after implementing OTM for Stratco. Yeah. So with this, I will hand it over to Michael, who is online, joined with us for the Stratco overview. Michael, you can go to next slide and yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Akshay and Niranjan. So to start with, I'd just like to talk about the company Stratco. We have over 75 years of experience in Australia and New Zealand in the building and home improvement products. We've started in the 1940s with a family-owned business, started very small, but through just hard work, determination, we've grown to have manufacturing facilities in all of Australia and New Zealand. So essentially we're a manufacturing company that produces building products for the Australian and New Zealand domestic and industrial market. This next slide that you can see showed some examples of the profiles of metal products that we produce. You can see two different styles of roofing profile, as well as gutter profiles as well. And this 6th photo down on the right here shows how those products all go together to build a domestic house as well. And this is one example of the finished products are used, but we can use our products to produce columns, beams, walling, roofing products, both as the domestic as well as the industrial markets as well. And this slide just talks about the technical component of the products. You can see up in the top in the blue all the Oracle applications and modules that we have used to build, and the transport components in the red. And you can also see in the bottom up to 28 different external applications that we have used as well within this project. So quite a complex build, and today we'll just be going through some of the aspects in that transport OTM module and how we've built that through to the ERP as well as the Stratco products as well.
Wonderful. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Akshay.
Take over now. Yeah, the next slide talks about the integration touch points that we have with OTM. So the blue boxes represents the modules from Fusion. On the bottom left, you can see the yellow one. Those are the external applications integrated with OTM via OIC. Okay, coming to the blue boxes in Fusion, we receive items from product information management. We receive the exchange rates from general ledger. From an order management point of view, we receive sales order since it's an outbound movement. And then we also, once the order is complete, we also send the delivery confirmation back to order management. From an order management point of view, we also receive rework and return orders. I'll explain what is rework and return orders in detail in the next slide. Yep. Coming to inventory, once we receive the order, we'll just send a confirmation message back to inventory saying, okay, we have received this order, and now you can go ahead and fulfill your orders as well. From inventory point of view, we also receive transfer orders, OSP transfer orders. My colleague Niranjan will explain what OSP transfer order is all about. And once the shipment has been created in OTM, we send the planned shipment back to inventory. And then once it has been loaded, we receive the actual shipment back from inventory to OTM. Yep, that was from inventory part. From procurement point of view, once the shipment has been delivered, we send a freight request to get created in procurement. So requisition gets created and PO gets created. We receive the PO back in OTM and then the invoicing process starts. Right? So once the invoice is created in OTM, the invoice gets approved and then we send the invoice back to accounts payable in Fusion. Right? And we get the invoice ID back from Fusion to OTM. So this is the way all the Fusion modules will get covered. From AR point of view, we receive customers as well as we receive the customer updates from Fusion to OTM. Right? On the left bottom side, the boxes in yellow, we have Naman, who is a GPS vendor provider for Stratco. So whenever a truck enters or leaves customer premises, we receive the events via geofencing. Right? And lastly, we have the packing app. So whenever an item is packed at the warehouse in Stratco, we receive the packing photos back into OTM so that at least the customers can see how the product has been packed. Yeah. Next slide, Michael. Yeah, maybe you can just finish this slide. There's an animation in here. Then I'll explain. Just go to next. Yeah, next. We can just complete this animation. I'll explain all. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Okay, wonderful. Yeah. So our solution revolves around the transportation management. So as I explained in last slide, we receive the items and item updates from Fusion product information management, and we also receive the customers via account receivable. So these were from master data point of view. From transaction point of view, the solution starts right from the order management. We receive the orders in terms of sales order. We also receive rework and return order. Return order is nothing but once the order has been delivered and if customer wants to return the order, we get that order from order management as well as a rework order. If we deliver an order and let's say that order is not as per the specifications of customer send it back to Stratco, Stratco rework on that order and then send again to customer. So once we receive all the orders, we immediately send an acknowledgement back to inventory saying, okay, we have received this order in OTM. Now, once the order fulfillment cycle progresses, we continuously receive the order updates from inventory. And those updates are nothing but whether the item has been packed or the item has been staged or released to warehouse or shipped, right? So once we have all the orders at staged status, the planner in OTM, he plans the orders to form a shipment and then he sends a shipment back to inventory, which is nothing but a tracking number, right? So once we have the planned shipment in inventory, the loader, he prints a load report so that he knows what needs to be loaded into a truck, right? So once the load report is printed, all the orders and items have been loaded into inventory, then the ship confirmation happens. Ship confirmation is nothing but the loader says, okay, I've completed all my loading and it is now ready to depart from the warehouse. Right? So it is nothing but an actual that comes back from inventory to OTM. So any order is not ready that has been left out and we receive an actual shipment back in OTM. Right? So once we receive the actuals, the driver is assigned, driver goes for the delivery, he delivers all the orders, And then, as and when the order has been delivered, we send the confirmation back to order management saying this order has been delivered. Once the order has been delivered, it updates in order management, and then the customer invoicing from Fusion starts. Right? From a service provider point of view, once the shipment gets completed, we send a request to create a freight PO in procurement. Right? So we send a request in procurement. The freight PO gets created in procurement. We receive the freight PO and the receipt as well in OTM. Right? So once we receive the freight PO, based on that freight PO, we create an invoice, and maybe weekly or fortnightly, all the invoices are clubbed to form a consolidated invoice. So once the consolidated invoice is created and approved, it is sent back to accounts payable to create an invoice ID in Fusion. So invoice ID gets created, and we receive the invoice ID back into OTM, so that we have the invoice number in OTM as well. Right? So, and lastly, we also have a futile order. Whenever, let's say, a driver goes for a delivery and the customer is not in place, so he missed the delivery, we just create a futile order saying, okay, the customer is not there, we need to deliver this order maybe again tomorrow or day after tomorrow. So we create a futile order, and this order gets delivered in the next run. All right, so I hope you got a gist of how the overall solution was, integrated from Fusion as well as in OTM. Next slide, please, Michael. Okay, so I'll hand it over to my colleague Niranjan to explain the key features that was deployed for Stratco.
Okay, so my name is Niranjan from Oracle Consulting. This is my 4th consecutive OTM SIG with 4 customers. So thanks Michael and Akshay. I think they have explained on a very high scale what is a Stratco and what exactly it does in terms of solutioning, right? So we have 3 main key features. We have a lot of features, but we are just explaining on the 3 features, yeah? I think this one particular screen which you can see is a driver workbench which we have built. You can see a Gantt. Most of you might be using, if you have a fleet management, the Gantt chart, right? So this particular workbench is useful in such a way that drivers can be easily find out whether he is available, whether he is available for planning, what is his exact leave structure for the entire month, or you can put it based on the day wise as well, yeah? And also based on this particular Gantt, you can easily find out whether a shipment is actually assigned to a driver or not. The reason being, in Australia, most of the shipments are based on hourly basis because drivers are charged based on hours, right? So in that way, you can easily calculate the charges easily, and then you can assign the drivers as well. Okay, so this is one important features that they are using. I will talk about the mobile application as well when I go to the next slide, yeah? Michael, can you go to the next slide? Okay, so I think Akshay just touched upon this particular feature. So this is an OSP related stuff. OSP is nothing but outside processing. In most of the countries we have, or in some of the manufacturing units, we will have something like, they can't manufacture everything, right? In this case, what happens for Stratco is, some of the products they have to outsource, and then they have to do some work on that, and then it has to come back to the manufacturing unit, yeah? So in this way, we have some structure in Fusion, so where you have a purchase order as well as a work order that creates for a particular outbound order and an inbound order. And with respect to OTM, this feature helps in tracking both your purchase order as well as the work order. I think if you are using Fusion applications, you will be knowing what exactly a purchase order and work order, right? In terms of OTM solution, what we have done is, we get both the orders into OTM. Like, once the sales order is created at Fusion, it comes to OTM. And if there is any power coating or if it needs any alteration for that particular product, they send it to a supplier, all right? So in that way, what happens, an inbound order will be created, including an outbound order. Why? Because if a particular product has to go back to the customer, it has to be quoted, right? So what OTM gets is both type of orders. It can be consolidated with the normal transfer order as well as the sales order. Okay, so this is one good feature which we have utilized, because in Fusion it's a out-of-box functionality, but OTM we have done in such a way that it can be tracked from the manufacturing till the supplier, then goes back to the customer. Yeah. So Michael, can you go back to next slide, please? Okay. So this one interesting delivery process. Again, Akshay touched something called futile, right? Futile is nothing but when there is a unsuccessful delivery. In last miles, you might be knowing. Example, if you take Amazon, if you are not available in your house, then it returns, right? So in case of primary movements as well, especially in Australia, what happens, there might be some issues. There might not be space in the warehouse or somewhere in the customer location, etc. What happens in terms of delivery for futile is, so futile orders are unsuccessful delivery, so it has to come back to the manufacturing plant, right? So what OTM solution gives in terms of futile is, we get an order that can be shipped on a particular day, which can be in future. So it can be consolidated with other orders as well. So this is the particular scenario for futile. So in terms of delivery, we have mobile application. We are using OTM standalone mobile application, the web app one, and drivers are using in very good way. Like they have a tab. I should emphasize this, that Stratco, they have given a tablet, the mobile, the tablet for all the drivers. So they go from one location to one location. They will just put on the events, arrived, delivered, departed, along with the photographs. Yeah, because as you could see in the previous slides, they have a lot of applications, the external applications, where these images are tracked based on the mobile application as well. So this is the overall delivery process, and we have not customized anything in terms of delivery process, all out of the box. And also the AP and the POD uploads, which goes to the Fusion, also based on the OTM charges or whatever the cost is calculated. Yeah. So these are the key features. We have a lot of other features. We have not covered everything because Stratco was a very huge project. The benefits of these features will be explained by Michael, because we have a lot of benefits based on these, whatever the implementation which we did, not only for OTM as well as the entire Fusion stack, because almost all the application in Fusion we are using. Yeah. So over to you, Michael. I think you can go to the next slide as well.
Thank you, Niranjan. Yeah, just to go through the benefits of what we've seen. Before this implementation, Stratco was using an AS400 green screen model, which was a little bit paper-based as well. So moving to OTM allowed us to replace those existing spreadsheets, the manual shipment planning, a lot of paper-based loading checks, and a separate standalone delivery application allowed us to move everything into one integrated shift system. We were able to do everything in OTM, managing trucks and freight rates, which was something new to Stratco. The planning, the loading, delivery, and the invoicing all became system-driven, which we could see in real time and all tied together back to Oracle as well. So a lot more traceability, automation as well. And then this also opened up all the logistics data that we're able to capture now. We could look at how long trucks were spending in the yard, how long deliveries were taking, plan more efficient deliveries, and load trucks more efficiently as well. So a lot of extra data that we need to put into the system, but that allowed us then to get all the benefits that we could use from looking at analysis and KPIs as well from OTM. So thank you for your time.